From TPN at Technophilespodcast.com, I'm David Geisler, and this is the Technophiles Podcast.
The French National Center for Scientific Research has given what they're calling autobiographical memory to Nao Robots.
On this Tuesday's episode, Tony tells the cast about plans for Nao Robots in space. After the break, Vee lets everyone know about advances in 3D printed jewelry. Get ready for RoboCup 2020 because this is the Technophiles' 264th episode. Hello and welcome to the show. I am here with the regular cast tonight, Miss Krista-Lee Malone, Mr. Tony Stiglich, and Miss Vee Laabs.
Howdy.
How's everybody doing? Vee Laabs is doing well. Vee Laabs.
I'm always the first to answer. I feel weird.
No, I try to ask you guys in different orders, but
Switched up.
But it's all good. Krista-Lee, you're doing well as well.
I'm doing good.
Tony,
Also, well and
a lot of well happening tonight.
uneventful.
And uneventful.
Yes.
But we're doing your story first tonight.
Well, yes.
Should we just go for it?
Sure.
How's you guys?
I feel like we're moving
weekends?
kind of fast here.
We are
Yeah,
moving fast. I don't
actually-
know. I feel like we just kind
Nothing wrong
of,
with-
you sat down, we hit the ground running.
Yeah.
You
I
guys
just
have an
say
okay
something?
weekend or what? Yeah, what?
Because I haven't seen enough other geeky people, and I just need to say this out loud. I just finished Ready Player One,
Okay.
and it was so amazing.
Really?
All right.
Yes.
Oh my god! Because I am so skeptical. Because I heard somebody describe to me the car in that book, and it sounded like the worst T Fury mashup T-shirt I've ever heard of.
The car?
The
Literally a
car
vehicle?
is this minor thing in the story.
That turned me off instantly. It's
what was it?
it's like the car.
Didn't Steven
from,
Spielberg just sign off on the rights for it,
That
or
was the
someone
only
else?
thing. I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah,
even know
I
it was a
think
book.
so.
Yeah, I don't
just-
think he's
Oh, God,
directing it,
yes.
but he's producing it.
Okay.
You should get it.
It is a book. A lot of people love it. I have not read it.
Okay.
Kind of figured I would.
Okay, let's put it this way. On Goodreads, do you guys know that app?
I do.
Okay, on Goodreads, I finished the book in the middle of the night, and I got on Goodreads, and I'm like, I think I wrote, I love this book, and the next time someone says something about gamers being antisocial, I'm gonna get the hardcover and throw it at their head. That was my review of the book.
Very nice.
I like the poetic nature of
Yeah.
that statement.
It's a
Gamers
nice,
aren't antisocial. Screw you.
it's a nice Ouroboros there. Yeah.
I'm still pushing through The Martian right now. I'm getting there though. I'm getting there. I read very slow, but that's very cool. But I feel like Ready Player One's in my docket.
Oh, you haven't read it yet?
No, I have not.
Oh my god! I
I'm
literally
familiar with the concept, but I don't know any spoilers or anything.
I don't know either, but
So I'm not.
I feel so.
I don't want to say a whole lot because I don't
Right.
want to do any spoilers. But I mean,
Right.
I was so excited. I just wanted to tell somebody or call somebody, but it was the middle of the night. I was like, I can't be calling people at 2:00 and be like, I just finished this book. It was awesome.
Hey guys, if we did, I'm not joking about this at all. I've been tossing this around for a while. I even mentioned this to you real quick, Tony. If we did a side show, not the newscast, but something else where we did reviews of movies or books or whatever, would you guys be into that at all?
Yes.
Not a big thing, and maybe it wouldn't be all four of us. Maybe it would just be Tony and I would have a conversation. Krista-Lee and Vee would have a conversation. We have a location down the street from our studio here that we might be able to do that in. I think it'd be kind of cool.
Oh yeah, that
Have
would
a
be
few
a
drinks
good
I don't
idea.
want to
and
not
talk
too
about
much
movies.
behind the curtain stuff here, but anyway, there's a bar down the street that they're kind of keen to the idea of us doing something there, and I always thought maybe a YouTube only show or a real kind of extra features kind of thing where we maybe review
Some
a book or a
one-offs.
film or something where it's kind of you know what I mean? We do a series like that. Something we wouldn't be getting together every week or something. I don't know.
Sure.
Would you guys be
Yeah.
into that idea?
Yeah.
Maybe we pull some other TPN people in. Maybe it's 3 people an episode. I'm just pitching this right now on the show, I guess. But, maybe that would be a great experience for that.
Mm-hmm.
However, for tonight, let's get into it. Let's talk about robots on the International Space Station, Tony.
All
I'm
right,
very
let's
excited.
do it. Excuse me, poor timing.
That's fine.
So, I know, right? Well done. Audio podcast. So, are you guys familiar with Nao Robots? NAO.
So I am a little bit.
Okay. These are, your basic sort of adorable small humanoid robots that
They had them playing soccer a couple years ago.
Play soccer.
It's always
And,
dancing,
it's not what is it, Osimo, but it's very similar. Sorry, that was a South Park. Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, right.
Osimo. So it's very similar to that. Now, the
Jeez.
the
Audio podcast. Bangs got crazy here. Sorry. Go ahead.
that's all right.
Not Osimo. Osimo is cool.
Yes, these are Nao robots. The French National Center for Scientific Research has given what they're calling autobiographical memory to Nao Robots.
Wow.
So the idea being that you can either through physically moving into place or by it mimicking your moves on a Kinect or I guess similar technology.
Whatever. Yeah.
It can learn to do tasks. So the video that they show is say like, okay, we'll teach you how to hold. And that's your command is hold. And he moves the arms into place and it grabs the thing. And then, okay, that's hold. Then you stop. Then you teach it release, things like that. The idea here is
you're doing this not by writing code.
Not by writing code.
Right.
These are not pre-loaded in or anything like that. Mm-hmm. You're interacting with this robot, specifically this software, because it can be applied to other different robots, which will eventually be the plan. Mm-hmm. And then the idea being, so the International Space Station wants to use this. Astronaut goes up, spends 6 months, sometimes a year up there, then they come back down. Rather than sort of starting fresh with a whole new group up there that has to relearn all the same things, you have these robots that can not only assist you in. So if it needs to be a 2-person task, the thing that they show on here is just like switching out a smart card or cleaning a smart card, and it holds the thing and then you can clean it, then it puts it down. That's a very simple task, but you can teach it to do more complex things to not only assist you, which was sort of the original idea, but it will also teach you. If you say, we'll say now in this case, okay, say now teach me how to clean this smart card. It will go through and tell you all the different steps. And if you say, oh, okay, well, that's interesting, I kind of get it. Show me video.
Yeah.
It will record what it does and what the other person is doing, and then it will play the video. So it's essentially not only learning and interacting with you, what they're trying to do is replicate the experience with another person there.
Right.
So you're training it, and then it trains someone else.
Yep.
And not only that, it can assist and sort of walk the next person through it. So it's essentially a sort of learning, training software in order to not lose all this information. And not only that, obviously, it can assist you. Mm-hmm. So
I want one really bad, actually.
Yeah.
Just because they're cute, or like, do you have a purpose for this?
Both. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, honestly, the ways in which I would use it are just me being lazy, but still. Sometimes you need to be a little lazy.
Yeah, and just have a cute robot with the very.
Well,
we were watching this video earlier, and it has the most cheerful voice.
It really does.
It's just so happy and proud to be doing its job.
Although I'm assuming that will be slightly different on the. Well, maybe, I don't know. So they're not. So they're thinking about using this not on these Nao robots.
Now sound grumpier.
But on.
Right. It sounds like they're experimenting with, because they have that hardware.
Yeah.
But I think when it's a thing, it could be any hardware.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're planning, at least on the International Space Station, to use it with what they call Robonaut 2.
Oh, Robonaut. We did an episode on him.
Yeah,
we did a
there it
podcast
is.
episode on him.
I was thinking that might ring some bells.
Mm-hmm.
What is Robonaut?
Robonaut, and he's been up there now for about a year.
Yep.
Robonaut's a robot up on the ISS.
And it's got a 40...
basically torso up, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
And it has like a 40-pound payload capacity, so it can do significantly heavier and bigger things.
And
humanoid waist up humanoid robot that's up there.
Is it
Well, do you know what's kind of
stationary?
funny? Well, they put him up there about a year or two ago. We did an episode on it, and then this is the craziest thing. About a year ago, there was like a 50-minute YouTube video that hit the internet of one of the Russian astronauts kind of giving a tour of the whole ISS, and it was captivating and educational, and it was amazing. And I watched every single second with my hands on my cheeks like a little kid, soaking in every single second. And this guy goes through every single little shelf and drawer and is like, "This is what we do here. This is what we do here." Amazing. Like, even if I find it, maybe I'll tweet it out. There's plenty of other scientists who are starting to do, or it's not starting in the last year to do tours as well, but this guy was just a really comprehensive one. Anyway, at one point in the tour, Robonaut had kind of just gotten up there. They really didn't know what to do with him yet.
Yeah.
And he was like, "And here is the Robonaut, and he was just like in a bag. Robonaut did not have a purpose yet. He was upside down relative to the camera, upside down, tucked away in a bag. They weren't sure, but they've got the hardware up there already. Of course, the software.
Yeah.
Maybe that's been part of the long-term plan, but maybe it was just awkward timing.
Yeah. So
Robonaut didn't have a purpose yet.
Poor Robonaut. So this will hopefully give him a purpose.
Uh-huh.
So the idea is, rather than sort of preloading these basic instruction, essentially sending up IKEA instructions in robot form, it's more of a collaborative experience.
The entire ISS is just a hex wrench. Can we control it with a hex wrench? And the robot doesn't have a face. Well, he actually is placidly smiling
just a
all the
small
time.
little,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Holding squares and rectangles. I like it.
Yep. So it's more like an intermediary almost, although they're thinking of it as more of a direct collaborator.
And delectable.
And yes, potentially. You could teach it to cook, I suppose.
Hey, they're growing the plants up there
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Stuff
yeah.
like
They
we
got a
talked
garden
about.
There you
going.
go.
Yeah.
This is awesome, yeah.
They can
So
make
that's-
some salads.
So that's the idea, at least for space. For down here, as they say on TerraFirma, what they're envisioning this as is for like an elderly memory assistant.
Yeah.
So for people with, say, degenerative brain disorders, whatever, if you forget how to do something basic, you can just ask, and it will not only tell you how, but you can program it to show you how, and not only in video but also in motion.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is an interesting use. I wouldn't have thought of it. I don't have any other. I mean, yeah, you could use it in sort of a workplace function.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose there's like a weird version where you could have a training robot, like in a factory and whatnot. And,
Yeah.
But
then again,
I
maybe
always,
the robot would just be doing it at that point.
well, that's true. I always wonder with things like this. It's like, okay, here's a really specific example for space, but it's nice to have some sort of down here on Earth application as well.
So it's something where the human brings that extra. The human can be trained on the specifics, but then the humans bring in an extra element, a decision-making element or something, where the robot's really good at translating the tasks or the way to hold something or the way to pick something up or kind of like it really is kind of like real-world instructions, isn't it? It's weird.
Yeah.
It's like a tutorial level or something.
I guess this just popped in my head, and it's probably not the best example, but say if I were to forget if I had Alzheimer's or something like that, and I forgot how to brush my teeth, right? If you get instructions on that, you might get like, okay, go directly up and down and then back and forth. Whereas in real life, no one, well, I don't want to say no one, but very few people are so specific in their motions, so you can have room for nuance that instructions don't allow, or just sort of paper instructions. And I think that's, anybody who's come in to replace someone who's retiring or coming into a position that someone else was occupying, you'll know just how much of that is nuance that you would have to learn from somebody who's done it for 20 years.
Was there talk about how much they had to... So sometimes there's like robots in, I don't know, I'll just say car factories. There's kind of a thing where like you can either code the whole thing, or sometimes they'll just grab that robot arm and it goes into quote unquote record mode, and they like grab this and they'll move it and they putty it, and then they can tweak that code and clean it up a little bit. But sometimes what has to happen when you're training a robot that way is you do it 20 times. You tell them how to do it 20 times, and it finds like all the averages and stuff and knows what to do. Was there any talk about like any situation like that with these guys?
Not that I saw, and actually in the video that they showed, there is a moment when he's teaching this robot how to hold, where he initially positions the arms at, we'll say, like 45 degrees, and then he sort of decides it holds it a little better at, say, 30 degrees. And you see whenever whenever he says, execute hold or whatever,
goes to that 45.
it goes to that 45 first and bend down.
Oh,
so there is
interesting.
an element of needing to be specific when you are motioning that way.
Yes.
You could kind of clean that up by doing the connect thing.
Yeah.
In sort of a larger application, you could just have have it watch you do it, basically.
We'll go to break here soon, but I guess what I'm exploring is, how much of it is just a recording and how much of it is artificial intelligence, and where is it on that scale?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's more on the scale of recording.
I see.
It's the idea isn't necessarily to have it sort of learn or optimize what you're doing or anything like that. It's just, which is why I say
Like,
it's not
how do you peel a banana? Like, there's millions of different subtle banana shapes.
Yeah.
See where I'm going with this?
Yeah, that's a good example, which is why when you asked earlier, I would say it's not necessarily a collaborator between two people. It's
Yeah.
more of a tool for people to collaborate with.
Got it. Cool.
So,
Fantastic. Very exciting. Very exciting. Whoa, I got really excited there at the end.
Yeah.
I don't know
I
why.
am, but
It was
I
growly.
in my imagination, this is like precursor to the robot assistant I want to have before I die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're already saying, medical or memory or whatever.
I don't have any of those problems. I
And
just
it's-
want a
well,
robot
sure.
assistant.
It's okay.
Well,
I'll
that
break your
was-
arm or something. Spleen, it
Sure.
can go.
If it
oh,
helps,
that's how it works. I'll break
not
my
this
arm.
software, but the robot, the Naos, that was what they were envisioned as originally, is little
Right.
personal assistants.
That's why
Yeah,
they're so
just
cute. I
Somebody
see.
Right,
to do
right.
basic tasks when nobody else is around.
Right.
Yeah.
Someone
It's
to,
that extra pair of hands.
someone to go get my sandwich when I want to get up from the
Yeah.
computer.
So maybe this will be
It's
part of that software component.
It's a robot that puts its finger on the bow you're tying for presents.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, but there's so many different sizes of presents and shades of presents. I was trying to do a
That
banana
one
thing.
of
We'll go to break and come back and talk about...
Out of context, quote of the week. I was trying to do a banana thing. It's just weird. It's just an odd
It
sentence.
is kind
is
of a
all.
weird quote. Let's go to break. And we'll come back. Vee Laabs telling us about kind of holograms.
Yeah.
A little bit of augmented reality.
It just cramming that hologram augmented reality into 3D printing. It's just
Fantastic.
It's gonna be a
We'll get
great
into
old-
it. We'll be back in just 30 seconds. Hey everybody, David Geisler, host of the Technophiles podcast here, and I am here with Krista-Lee, also from the podcast, and we're just about to record an episode, but before we do, I wanted to take a second and let our listeners know about some amazing things that we're doing with UWM. Krista-Lee, what the heck is happening?
We are going to do 3 live shows with the Digital Humanities Lab, which is in the UWM library.
Yes. It's going to be awesome. So the first one's coming up in September. I think it's September 23rd, if I remember correctly.
Right.
And who's our guest for that show?
That is Jake Gill, who is the director of Skritter, which is a Chinese and Japanese language learning app.
It's completely free. Anybody can come and sit in the audience, participate in the show. We're even going to add an extra section to our show where people can ask questions. We'll have a microphone out in the audience and people can contribute and talk about whatever we want to talk about. We'll be there. You'll be there. We're going to be talking about technology, and it's all going to be shot live.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to have to do spirit fingers the whole time, I think. I think the whole
Maybe
time.
not, maybe not.
Maybe I'll just do it.
You can do it.
So, tell us. But it'll be great. It'll be fun. So we just want to tell you about that real quick. Now we're going to go record episode 261.
Yeah.
All right.
See you there.
And we are back from the break. Vee Laabs just said over the break, I'm so excited. I can't wait to talk about this. So Vee Laabs, let's just dive in head first.
Here we go. This is like the perfect intersection of what I love between functionality and form and accessibility to people who don't know how to use 3D printing or modeling. And I am both of those. I am all of those. This is from a researcher at Carnegie Mellon University School of Architecture, Madeline Gannon. She does work for a group called madlab.cc. And she's had like a couple of projects with them in the past involving modeling and 3D printing and wearables, like jewelry, bracelets, weird collar necklace things that are totally abstract and really trippy looking, using strange algorithms. One of her her first projects with them, I believe, was called Reverb.
Okay.
And that was just kind of an algorithm where you have like a modeled form. For example, in the video they have for their demo, it's like a weird squid thing. And using hand gestures and a 3D scan of like your torso or whatever, you can design what this thing looks like.
Sure.
It mirrors it on each side, so you have the model and you kind of like
In the
trace
software, it's almost like you're drawing on yourself.
Yeah, there's like a Kinect camera on you or something like that, and you sculpt it, and it does this thing where it stutters the placement, so it becomes like like long-term exposure photography where you see like the frames of it.
Yep.
And it does that, and it creates a model of it and makes it so it is printable, and then it prints it, and it fits you perfectly.
And then a robot steps up and does the exact same thing.
Yeah, and it's like, what? I can do that too.
Have you forgotten how to make a dress? Let me show you.
And that's actually where the group is thinking of going. Like, this is the first step into that kind of like, you can make anything and wear it and it will fit you perfectly.
Right.
And we're just starting with bracelets right now.
Because once we go into the body scan, we've had conversations on this show before. Any of you are on the show, maybe you, Tony, but I had conversations back in the day with Tina and Sean about how the future is that we're going to have a body scan file.
Yep.
And we're going to have that and quote unquote take it to the store, but we all know what that actually means. You're just going to have that file on part of your account for fashion, whatever.
Yep.
And that's when, custom clothes take off, and because of 3D printing, and there's even like versions of 3D fabric printing that are happening where you're not knitting the sweaters anymore. They're printing the knit together. Like crazy stuff.
Wild.
But once we get past this, once we go past this tipping point of having everybody have a body scan or whatever, that's when all of this really opens up.
Yeah, this is the first step into it. Her most recent project is called Tectum, and it's kind of a step further from the first project she had, where the video, it shows almost kind of like a hologram type thing, but the actual setup is a Kinect camera that's suspended above your arm. See, we're like making bracelets here, and then like a tablet screen that shows the output. It scans your arm, has all the depth, and it uses skin touch like detection. That is how you manipulate your model. So, for example, in the video, they show like it puts bars on your wrist, like a series of jelly bracelets or whatever.
And you're seeing this on the screen.
And you're seeing this on the screen.
Yep.
Visually in the video, they show it just right on the arm. But tactile touches on your arm, pinching, grabbing, pulling. In the video, she was doing something where she could hold the form by making a fist. And that's like, this is where I want it to be. If she let go, it would return back to its normal location. It would be just bars again. Yeah, so it detects that. And so, she puts her arm out, she pulls some of the bars away into like some weird organic, like organic shape.
She's
or whatever.
sculpting a little bit,
She's
isn't
sculpting
she?
it on her body.
Right.
And then she holds it. And Virtually, yeah. And then there's a function. You turn your arm over and you do the other side. And it shows the whole model right there in the program. And it already, like, it has the algorithm to make it a 3D printable model, so you don't have to know, I don't know what you use for modeling in 3D printers, whatever that is.
AutoCAD.
That's what it was. My guess was going to be, but I know nothing about AutoCAD or anything like that.
I don't know if it's actually AutoCAD.
I don't know either. I don't know.
Sometimes it's Maya.
Yeah, but that's what she's bridging that gap between, everybody's an amateur, everybody's a beginner, but you can still play around with this. Work with the modeling program. This is your first step. Work with a 3D printer. This is your first step. And you make something for yourself that's custom, that's original, that's unique. And you're off, you're set. It's that first step into creating your own outfit by yourself, tactile with computers. It's one of those groups that's kind of putting it out there, like, guys, look what we did. We made a thing. Yeah. You can do this. She's actually going to be collaborating with another group. Her hope is to make this for like prosthetics and stuff, add a bit of originality and more customizability.
Okay.
can't think
Because
of.
we've had 3D printed casts for a couple years now.
So this would fit perfectly to somebody, like if, you know, you have medical equipment that you need to have, like maybe like a pump or something for your diabetes or something. You can sculpt something very original and unique, and then you can get, like, fine-tune it in the model program to make sure it fits your equipment. In the example they have here, she has her Samsung smartwatch face, and she places it on her wrist to kind of get the general idea of where the bracelet would warp around it.
Okay.
And then she goes into the program and more precisely fine-tunes it, creates an apparatus that will hold the face of the watch,
Yep.
and then prints it off, plops her little watch face in there, works like a charm.
Of course.
Yeah. So it opens up a whole world to jewelry and customizability.
So what's the first thing you think you would make?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. Those bracelets just look really rad. It looks like a topographical map almost on your arm. I just make one of those, like a ton of those. It's
so
they're like
many
they're like
bracelets.
whacked out jelly bracelets.
Yeah.
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 You know.
Are they actually made from stretchy material? I was wondering how you get this on.
Yeah, it was. I think
that's
it
a
is
good
made out
point.
of stretchy kind of rubber,
It could be.
nylon
It's
material.
conceivable.
You'd almost have to, otherwise it'd print around your wrist, which
print
might
around
be
your wrist and
slightly
everything.
dangerous.
Yeah.
There'd be like, there's some 3D printed jewelry out there where they do design it where it's a little bit of like like it's just the pressure.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll design it where it's two pieces that click together.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. And when I say click together, I don't mean like the old school kind of like things that snap onto each other. They'll actually have some kind of elaborate way where the mesh wrap encases itself and
Yeah.
holds on, that kind of stuff.
It's totally that aesthetic I really want of just like absurdist, like weird jewelry
Headbands.
that I don't.
I'm just gonna make headbands. I'm gonna
Just
put my head
headbands.
down in the
All
scanner.
headbands.
And just tons of headbands.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm
Like
gonna
really,
make
like really cool ones.
so many anklets, so many ankle bracelets.
I immediately thought of the Quail Man belt. You can never quite
that,
get it
yeah.
right.
Yeah,
You know?
because it doesn't have that right bounce. The
Yeah,
belt,
yeah.
the belt. I always remember watching Doug and like being like, that belt doesn't make sense. Because remember the
try
belt
and
goes
How does it-
around
and then it makes an
goes
L
up out of
turn.
nowhere.
You try and recreate it in
You
your
could
room
never
and
recreate it
it
unless
doesn't
you
work.
cut up a belt and
Yeah.
glued it that
Yeah.
way.
And then put a wire in there to get the curl just
Yeah,
right.
perhaps.
Oh, cosplayers
man.
rejoice. This stuff is coming.
I think we just
Yeah.
figured it out. I think we just figured out the Quail Man cosplay. Broke here on the Technophiles podcast.
Yeah,
Cracked it.
Cosplay is
latest.
exactly where my mind went with
Yeah.
this story. It's
So what
just
would you do?
I will all of them, obviously. No, I don't even know where I would start. There are so many different things that I would like to cosplay that right now I just don't have the time is the big thing for me with making costumes. There's so many, like, and it's not that I don't have the skill, but I'll just look at it and I'm like, oh, maybe next year.
But if you could sit there and draw certain parts, draw a shoulder.
Yeah,
Panels
if I
and-
could do that, and because I'm imagining I could do that, and I mean, if I'm talking full costume, maybe it'll take me a couple of hours.
Well, sure.
But when you're making stuff by hand, you're talking, months.
Right.
Yeah.
But if I could, sit down, do that, map it out on my body, and then walk away while it prints, sweet.
Yes. It's yeah, I can see a lot of cosplayers going wild for this, just being able to be like, oh, I can just sculpt it to fit me perfectly, and I don't have to like sit here with Warbla and like take a heat gun to it and then pray to God it fits my wrist and
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah, or even so, like there are things when I occasionally have time that I do make. So like I knit and I do beaded jewelry and all of this stuff. Okay.
Gross.
What? Shut up!
Just throwing you for a loop here.
Yeah,
Oh my
wait
God.
until Wisconsin winter gets cold and I have the best hat
it's
in the
cold.
house. Yeah. No, but honestly,
Watch out for those knitting needles.
I was gonna say
That's
gross,
a good
whatever
point.
she said. I already knew.
No, but like it's all like I have myself. Okay, so I make a lot of hats, so I got those down right. But like I won't even try to make myself a sweater because sizing stuff to yourself is
Okay.
ridiculous. And then if you screw up the size, it's like that 8 hours of work I just did.
Yeah.
Let me just tear
Oh,
that out.
man, yeah.
Right, but yeah, I mean, if I could, sit down with one of this and just draw it on me, and it's gonna fit
Have
perfect.
some sweater here. Have some sweater here.
Yeah.
This is such a cool halfway point because you're really into technology, or at least computer stuff more than perhaps your average crafter, and then you are also a crafter. this is that halfway point between.
Oh, you got the organic and the virtual.
Exactly.
That's where
You
you're
know,
going with
you
Let me tell you, when I start running diagnostics on my mom's computer and then knit in between button presses.
Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, yeah. No, I do that sometimes. It is kind
In
of
between button presses, she's actually gotten really good, and she uses the needles and like bing, bing for the button execute the buttons.
Yeah.
Well, no, you got to keep the tension with the wire and everything
Right?
too. So it's like sometimes
yeah?
you're doing this and you're like, 2 more stitches. Okay, that's done. Run next diagnostic. Okay,
Yeah.
It's
fantastic.
That's all right. Cool. So is there any talk about what she's planning next or anything? Because otherwise, I think we covered this. This is great.
Yeah, she's going to be collaborating with Autodesk, I think. She's going to be
really?
she's going to stay there and have an artist in residence there. Just to have access to all their CNC stuff, all their 3D printers, and like she's excited to start applying Tectum to prosthetic devices, create new skin-based artifacts, including perhaps, in her quote, a full body thing.
a full body thing.
Yeah. So, you know, having like a
People
full,
do like a
body
full body
scan.
thing.
Catwoman cosplay.
Oh my gosh. I could, or like Iron Man gauntlets.
There you
Could
go.
you imagine? Oh my gosh.
I mean, you didn't ask me, Dave, but my answer to your question is form-fitting Wolverine claws.
Oh, there it is. I should have asked
Sorry.
you. I
Nice.
apologize that I did
It's okay.
not.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, Tony's in there. He's just like, beautiful.
Yes.
Pulling them out.
Well, I have some
Yes,
Halloween
just pull that
ones,
out,
and they
pull
just,
that
you
out,
know, they
pull
never
that out.
fit.
So when you have a
100%
costume
right.
claws, what have you? Flesh tone, like half gloves?
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. They're, yeah.
And okay, so here's one thing that this is kind of reminding me of, and maybe it's different if people like are making things digitally more than I am. But being a tactile person who works with actual materials, I tried this other program once, and I don't remember what it's called. This was like a few years ago when I was at the GDC in California.
Okay.
But what it was is with this program, they had it almost looked kind of like a special stylus, and on the screen there was the material, but you had to go in the air.
Right. It's a 3D drawer, right?
And okay, that's what it's called.
Well,
or
I'll call it a 3D
well,
drawer.
okay, we'll call it
Sure.
3D drawer. But I
Sculptor,
found this
yeah.
very difficult because I'm in the air and
Yes.
being able to.
And you're still abstracting that into like what it
Yes.
actually means.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was just being able just to position. Like it took me a moment to sit there with the stylus and be like, "Oh, there's the material."
Yes.
and
Right,
now
right.
just
So that's why you get into
There's
stuff
that
like you get into like
disconnect.
that kind of thing as the input device, but if you can mix that with hologram technology and stuff like that, now we're getting somewhere. What's
Or
up, Tony?
even sort of an Oculus or
Yes,
something.
you're absolutely right. There is some software. There's some 3D software that
yeah.
exists right now. We are just like smacking our microphones all
know.
around tonight.
Crazy.
There's
getting
software right
excited.
now where there's goggles you wear that reads that kind of mocaps the screen you're working
Yeah.
on, and then there's a 3D pointer that then counter mocaps from the screen, and you can this stuff exists actually for that kind of stuff, so that you're looking at 3D goggles that look like things are sticking out, so that it does line up with where that pointer is. But if you're just using the pointer alone,
But I actually think this would be easier for someone like me because I can touch my
Right.
Yes,
body.
it's
Right.
And the
tactile.
fact
It's
that I
tactile.
have that tactile, I think would make the difference.
And we can combine this. We talked about this on another episode, that controller, that little chip where you move your fingers together and you control the volume on your radio or something like that.
oh, I kind
Do
of
you
remember
remember
that.
that?
Whatever happened to that thing?
I don't know. I want to look that up, but this is kind of that same idea
Perhaps.
where, though this is using the Kinect and depth to detect like when you are in contact with yourself.
Yeah, they have an algorithm, obviously, like deducing where the arm is, and then when your other finger stops motion in that
Yes.
area, they can tell you're touching yourself.
One of the problems they do have with this is that it only has like a range of like 100 millimeters in terms of accuracy, because you know it's your finger, and the weird depth of the Kinect can only detect so much.
Sure.
But I believe, if I remember correctly, that chip technology was a lot more accurate.
That's
Like
true.
it was using radio waves to figure out.
Yes, it was. You're right. Wasn't it? That was a Google thing, wasn't
That
it?
was
It was,
recently, like
yeah.
I was on the show. I remember that.
Yeah, that was definitely. I don't
Yeah.
think that might have been recorded here. Or
No,
was it
that was at Tina's.
at the other place.
Yeah.
Oh, we did it. They did that one at Tina's place. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah. Well, why don't you get on that V and connect them?
Yeah,
Because this
all
lady
right.
here,
Yeah.
she needs to know about that.
Yeah, just call up Madeline Gannon and be like, hey, do you know this technology is a thing? Maybe you should incorporate that while you're at Autodesk. You know,
Well,
that'd be crazy.
she said, I don't know. All right. That was weird.
Yeah.
She said, I don't know.
Full stop.
Well, do you know what happened was I was trying to build a Ganondorf joke.
Oh yeah. See, when I first read her name, I was like,
Build a Zelda
so
joke
who's gonna be the first one to make?
And I was
a
like,
joke
I was going to
here?
say something. She was like, she said, I don't know. You're going to have to talk to my alternate form, Megan Ganondorf or something. It just wasn't coming together.
Yeah.
But now here it is. I've said it
Hey,
anyway.
you know, she's linking the world
Madeline
of
Ganondorf.
tactile technology.
Doesn't have that flow.
Good.
Doesn't have that flow, but what Madeline's doing is awesome.
Yes.
And V, if people want to tweet you with any questions about that, where can they do that?
They can do that at bear_Annika.
Fantastic. Krista-Lee Malone, where can they
What
find
was
you
that?
on
Why
Twitter?
didn't you go in order? I was
I saw that you were drinking.
wine.
Yeah.
I'm giving you a hard time tonight. I apologize. I apologize.
You are. That's okay. I'll pay you back. And you don't know when.
I don't know when. It's going to be on one of our live shows and when I least expect it.
Oh, yeah.
Krista-Lee, if people want to find you on Twitter, they can do that.
At Gamer Anthro.
Fantastic. Mr. Tony Stiglich.
I am at Tony_Stig.
Fantastic. We love it when people find the show on Twitter by searching Technophiles Pod. I guess you could search it technically. That is also our handle, so that works out very, very well. But you can also search us on Facebook, iTunes, and Stitcher by searching Technophiles, or go to our actual website, technophilespodcast.com, to just check out show notes for this episode, or go look at some of the other shows we do, like Branching Dialogue or Technophiles Newscast. And that is it. I'll see you guys next Saturday. Until then, you can find me on Twitter, David Geisler. I am at Raptor Paint. Have a good night, everybody.